For years, fans of Outlander have celebrated the undeniable chemistry between Sam Heughan and Caitríona Balfe, the actors behind the beloved Jamie and Claire Fraser. But behind the cameras, a very different story is now surfacing, one filled with tension, pain, and years of unspoken struggles. According to new revelations, Sam Heughan has privately confessed that he endured 6 long years of bullying, subtle put-downs, and emotional strain at the hands of Caitríona Balfe and other co-stars. Though the two always appeared inseparable during press tours and interviews, whispers of conflict have followed the pair since the early seasons. What fans saw on screen was romance and loyalty, but what Heughan allegedly experienced behind closed doors was isolation, mockery, and a toxic dynamic that left him feeling drained. Insiders claim the pressure of filming long days in grueling conditions was worsened by icy interactions with his leading lady. Sarcasm, cutting remarks, and dismissive behavior reportedly became part of Heughan's daily reality. For years, he chose to remain silent, fearful that speaking out would damage both his career and the fan-favorite series. Now, sources revealed that the emotional weight has taken its toll. Heughan, usually known for his resilience and positivity, has finally broken down in tears, admitting that the bullying went on far longer than anyone realized. Fans who have adored the actor for his warmth and professionalism are stunned by the allegations, with many rallying behind him on social media. The news paints a troubling picture of life on one of television's most iconic sets. While the on-screen love story between Jamie and Claire remains immortalized, the real-life partnership behind it may never recover. Whether Caitríona Balfe will address the claims remains to be seen, but the revelations are already shaking the foundation of the Outlander fandom. After 6 years of silence, the truth has finally come to light, and for Sam Heughan, the burden of carrying that pain alone is no longer hidden.
What really happens when the cameras stop rolling on Outlander? Sam Heughan is spilling it all. From wild late-night secrets to barroom confessions you won't believe. Get ready, because this is the side of Sam you've never seen before. He's donned the kilt, brandished the claymore, crossed centuries and continents. For more than a decade, Sam Heughan has been Jamie Fraser, the Scottish Highlander in Outlander, whose love, heroism, tragedy, and trials have become cultural touchstones. But what about after Jamie? What happens when the cameras stop rolling? The tartan helm up and the wigs, waistcoats, and big emotional arcs are in the rearview mirror. Heughan, now walking toward the end of Outlander, has begun letting slip what he really wants, fears, and treasures. Here are the confessions, secrets, and reflections gleaned from interviews, late-night conversations, and moments in bars one could say he might have shared. Bittersweet, brave, and full of possibility. Even while Outlander's winding down, Heughan is already figuring out how to reimagine himself beyond Jamie. In a number of interviews, he has described the final season of Outlander as bittersweet, recognizing that the role has been transformative, but that there is something melancholic in saying goodbye. He has said he never expected the show to last so many seasons. When asked what life will look like when he's no longer Jamie Fraser, his answers range between eagerness and trepidation. He talks about needing to be discerning about what projects he takes on next, wanting them to be roles that challenge him rather than just safe fits. There's also the obvious emotional cost. He's expressed that filming the last fittings, last scenes, wrapping up sets that have felt like home, those are moments that hit. The comparison has come. It's like a divorce, leaving behind something that's been intimate, long-term, a major part of identity. Late-night secrets, what Heughan lets slip when the lights dim. In interviews that are more relaxed, lying late at night or speaking off microphone, Heughan has shared things that show both the human side behind the show business gloss and the ways fame and character have blended and conflicted. Typecasting fears and windows of freedom. He admits that Jamie Fraser has given him an enormous range emotionally, physically, but also that there's a danger of being locked in the image. He has said in past conversations that part of what he seeks is roles that are very different, gritty, more modern, more psychologically complex. He's exploring work that pulls him into unfamiliar territory, not just different roles, but ones that stretch him as actor, as person. There have been instances where he's spoken about wanting to try directing or exploring stories that show underbelly sides of Scotland, stories less romanticized, more raw. Private life and the price of visibility. Heughan has been candid about how little time he has for ordinary life, relationships, downtime, even pets. In one interview, he said he wants a cat, but is scared of not being able to care for it. And he's amused and sometimes frustrated by rumors, people imagining relationships, family, more than are real. He's spoken of being mystified by facts he reads, e.g., hearsay that he has children. Humility about beginnings. Before Outlander, the path wasn't easy. Failed auditions, odd jobs. He has stories of working in a bar or other non-glamorous gigs, sometimes not being recognized. Worries about whether acting would pay off. Outlander changed things abruptly, from uncertainty, from waiting tables and gigs, to global recognition. If Sam Heughan were sitting in a bar, what might he confess over scotch or whiskey? Drawing from pieces of his own revelations, here are what seem like bar time truths. Lemons and lemonade, regrets and gratitude. On fame and the loss of anonymity. He'd admit that there's an odd kind of grief in losing parts of your private self. Being recognized in public, not being able to slip by, always having a persona nearby. Perhaps he'd say he sometimes misses being able to go where he wants without first being seen as Jamie Fraser. On guilt and loyalty. Guilt for leaving things undone, for relationships that suffered, for moments missed when filming demands travel, long hours, being distant. But also a fierce loyalty to co-stars. Caitríona Balfe especially is someone he says he'll be in each other's lives forever. Outlander has been more than a job. It's a shared journey. On what he would tell younger Sam. Over drinks maybe, he'd confess that he'd tell his younger self to be patient, to have faith, to expect rejections and feel them, but not let them define you. He would remind himself that the work is long, winding, that success sometimes comes when you least expect. He has said as much. Early in Outlander, he told people he thought the show might last a season or two, not nearly a decade. On regret, but acceptance. That he might have made choices differently, maybe worked more selectively, taken bigger risks sooner. But overall, he's grateful. Grateful for Outlander, for the doors it opened, for a book deal, for other acting roles, for business ventures. The regret is tempered by recognition that some of the unexpected turns were blessings. On what he's excited for. Freedom. Balance. Projects of passion rather than ones chosen out of necessity. The chance to surprise people, including himself. Finding roles that make him uncomfortable in interesting ways. Less costume changes, more real life. The Cocktail Diaries and other new ventures. Sam's not just planning his exit from Jamie. He's building out the afterlife of his career in ways that blend his interests. He has a cocktail recipe book coming in fall 2025 called The Cocktail Diaries, A Spirited Journey. It will gather his favorite cocktails, but also contributions from friends and bartenders from around the world. He said it's a lot of fun. There is also The Couple Next Door, a limited series where he plays Danny, a suburban traffic cop married to a yoga instructor. It's steeped in secrets and fraught with moral ambiguity, exploring open relationships, emotional risk, domestic tension. It's a marked shift from armored Highlander tales. Meanwhile, Outlander's final season looms. Production is wrapped. Heughan has said that he's glad the story will finish properly, that there are new characters, new sets, that they are happy with what's coming. But he also recognizes that it will be hard to say goodbye to Jamie. Because when someone spills tea, there is always more lurking beneath. Exactly how will Heughan reinvent his artistic identity? Which genres, which directors, which scripts will he say yes to and which will he reject? How will the emotional aftermath of Outlander's end manifest? Will there be burnout or resurgence or a period of stepping back? What of his personal life? He's guarded enough and has joked about rumors, but will there be revelations he chooses to share? Will he seek privacy more than before? How the public, fans, and industry will receive his post-Jamie work? Will they accept that he is more than Jamie Fraser, or see him always through that lens? Sam Heughan's journey from unknown actor doing odd jobs, auditions, to global star is already the kind of story most people never live. As Outlander winds down, he stands at a literal and metaphorical crossroads, one defined by memory, by character, by audience expectations, and one filled with undiscovered roads. The bittersweetness is real, the longing for new stories is palpable, and beneath the armor, behind the red hair, there is a man who wants to keep growing. Over a drink, he might say, Jamie Fraser taught me more than any school ever could, about love, courage, loss. But the next chapter, it's blank, and I'm curious what comes. The global Outlander fandom, nicknamed Outlander Nation, has been part of Sam Heughan's life almost as much as the show itself. For over a decade, they followed his every move. Conventions, interviews, social media posts, charity events, and yes, even those offhand bar jokes. As news of the series finale spread, fan groups across the UK, the US, and beyond began reflecting on their own journeys. For many, Outlander was more than entertainment. It was a way to discover Scottish history, connect with others online, and even make pilgrimages to filming locations. Tours in Scotland exploded in popularity, with castles, moors, and lochs suddenly crowded with visitors who wanted to walk Jamie and Claire's path. Heughan has acknowledged this fan devotion more than once. He often says he feels a responsibility to them, not just as an actor, but as a kind of ambassador. This sense of duty means he doesn't brush off fan expectations lightly. In fact, when asked how he feels about moving forward, he's admitted, "They've given me so much. I hope I can give them something fresh to follow, something that surprises them." It's clear that as he transitions, his fans are transitioning too, from seeing him solely as Jamie to allowing him to grow into other personas. Whether that shift is seamless or bumpy remains to be seen, but the bond between actor and audience is unlikely to fade. Between Scotland and Hollywood, where he stands. One of Heughan's most defining struggles is the tug between his Scottish identity and the broader Hollywood machine. On the one hand, he's fiercely proud of his roots. He's invested in Scotland's tourism and heritage, promoting distilleries, landscapes, and local businesses. His whiskey brand Sassenach Spirits is not just a side project, but a way of bottling Scotland's essence for the world. He has even said, "I want Scotland to shine, to be on the world stage the way Outlander put it there." On the other hand, to build a career beyond Outlander, Hollywood inevitably calls. More auditions in Los Angeles, more press tours in New York, more exposure to international studios. In candid remarks, he's admitted to sometimes feeling like an outsider in that system. The Hollywood networking culture, cocktail parties, endless casting politics, is very different from the intimate storytelling of Outlander. This push-pull could become one of the great themes of his post-Outlander years, balancing authenticity with ambition, home with horizon. Bar-time stories from cast and crew. No actor carries a long series alone, and Heughan has made a point of honoring those who helped him shoulder it. In late-night chats and bar settings, stories emerge from co-stars and crew that show a lighter side of the otherwise grueling production schedule. Heughan was known to be the mischief maker, pulling stunts during downtime to break tension. Cast members recall him sneaking into costume rooms to leave notes or switching props around before a serious scene. Whiskey nights with Caitríona Balfe. Over the years, he and Balfe shared countless post-shoot drinks, toasting to victories, or just decompressing after emotional sequences. They've both said those quiet, often whiskey-fueled conversations helped cement a friendship that outlasts the show. Heughan has confessed that some of his fondest memories aren't the premieres or press tours, but the wrap parties, where the entire team, camera operators, makeup artists, drivers, would gather at a pub and swap stories until dawn. These were the real bar-time confessions, where cast and crew were equals, united by the strange family that a long-running series creates. The Bond question: myth or future? No conversation about Sam Heughan's next act is complete without addressing the elephant in the room: James Bond. For years, his name has surfaced as a fan favorite to take over the tuxedo and martini from Daniel Craig. Heughan himself has admitted that he auditioned for Bond years ago, before Outlander made him a household name. Since then, speculation has been relentless. When asked point blank, he usually laughs it off, saying he'd love to, but knows how fiercely competitive and secretive the process is. Yet he also slips in little nods. "I think I'd be a brilliant Bond," he once teased, half joking, half serious. Even if he never lands 007, the Bond chatter has boosted his visibility, reminding casting directors that he's more than period drama. He could be suave, dangerous, contemporary. Whether or not he'll ever order that martini on screen, the Bond talk has become its own kind of late-night legend in his career. Actors leaving long-running roles face a unique challenge: reinvention without erasure. Heughan has to both honor Jamie Fraser and move beyond him. His strategy so far is multifaceted: diversifying projects, entrepreneurship, maintaining relatability, sharing glimpses of himself jogging through Scottish hills or attending rugby matches. This balancing act suggests a deliberate plan to avoid being pigeonholed, to explore creative spaces, and to stay authentic in the eyes of fans. Closing reflections: a man in motion. So where does all this leave Sam Heughan? At a bar in Glasgow, he might lean back in his chair, glass in hand, and confess that Jamie Fraser will never leave him, no matter what roles come next. That fame is exhilarating and exhausting in equal measure. That he still feels like he has more to prove to himself, most of all. Heughan's story is still unfolding, and, if anything, the end of Outlander marks not a finale, but an inflection point. The next decade of his life could be the most surprising yet. Free of tartan, but still rich with storytelling, tinged with Scotland, but reaching far beyond. And maybe that's the ultimate tea he's spilling. That endings are not endings at all, but the quiet moment before the next toast is raised. The trailer opens with familiar scenes: Claire and Jamie returning to Fraser's Ridge, the home they've built together, the community they have nurtured. It's a homecoming after years of separation, of travel, across continents and through time. But the sense of peace is fleeting. Inspect as it is, Fraser's Ridge is no longer merely a haven. It may be the battleground. The Hollywood Reporter, Jamie's voiceover reflects on memory, on first seeing Claire, on the accumulation of moments. "I remember when I saw you for the first time. Every moment, every second." These lines carry weight, marking not only love's endurance, but also the awareness that memory might be all that remains if things go wrong. So far, so familiar. But then darker notes creep in. Claire expresses fear that she may lose everything. Jamie is shown reading ominous writings, possibly penned by Frank Randall, that foretell war and his potential death. Familial secrets, consequences of wartime conflict, divine or mystical prophecy, all seem to hover over this return. The Ridge, it seems, will not be immune to the conflicts that have stalked Jamie and Claire throughout their lives. Love, time, and what it costs. One of the central threads running through Outlander has always been the way love stretches across time. Literal time travel, yes, but also the way Jamie and Claire endure through loss, separation, differing centuries. The teaser emphasizes this. Scenes flash back to earlier seasons, first meetings, youthful romance, adventures, heartache. Then, in contrast, the present, older, more marked, but still bound by mutual commitment. It suggests that the final season will juxtapose the early bright days of Jamie and Claire with their later trials more than before. But love isn't the only force in motion. Prophecy or foreboding, perhaps supernatural or mystical, loom large. Will Jamie defy fate one last time? The teaser suggests as much. The war, which has often been an external antagonist, now collides with personal stakes, risk to life, home, family. The question becomes, what will they sacrifice to protect what they care about? And, crucially, is love enough? Threats from outside and within. One of the more haunting elements of the teaser is the way it hints that threats won't only come from external forces, but from within. Family secrets, unforeseen revelations, internal tensions. The Ridge community, Jamie and Claire's family, including Brianna, Roger, perhaps others, are likely to be drawn into whatever storms are headed their way. A particularly evocative moment comes near the trailer's end. Claire, hearing a voice off-screen with an English accent, says, "Is it possible?" Her reaction suggests shock, wonder, or recognition, something that could tie into unresolved plot threads. Could this voice be someone long thought gone, or someone from her past she believed unreachable? There is speculation among fans that it may be Claire's brother from Outlander Blood of My Blood, or another figure connected to her family's time travel past. These mysteries are not just side plots. They appear intertwined with the core arc, Claire and Jamie's love, their home, their identity. The tension is not only can they survive, but can they stay true to themselves and each other in the process? Prophecy, war, and the shadow of fate. Jamie is shown reading ominous writings that seem to foretell war, perhaps even his death. The suggestion is that the final season will confront Jamie with fate in a sharper way than ever before. The teaser doesn't confirm what this prophecy is, or whose voice or hand is behind it, but it establishes prophecy or premonition as a central motif. The war that has touched many of the characters' journeys is poised to be more immediate. The fact that Jamie and Claire are returning to a home they left implies that what they've built may be under threat, not just physically by conflict, but morally, emotionally. Their relationships, their legacy, possibly even their children, may be part of this reckoning. The prophecy, the threat of death, the sense that home may not be safe, these together create a level of suspense that tells us the final act will be fraught. This is no comfortable ending. It must earn its conclusion. Bridging to the books and where the show may diverge. Fans of Diana Gabaldon's books will recognize many of the story beats the teaser hints at, elements drawn from Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, the 9th novel in the series, and possibly hints from material yet unpublished. Claire recognizing a song connected to her daughter Faith, unresolved mysteries around Faith's fate, the emotional weight of loss and time, these are all threads the books have teased. That said, there are indications the show may diverge from the books in significant ways. Casting choices, narrative pacing, the way prophecy is handled, as in many adaptations, television often alters, compresses, or reorders. Sam Heughan have hinted that while the show's end won't perfectly mirror what Gabaldon may ultimately write, it will aim to deliver a meaningful, satisfying conclusion. For instance, the show has already surpassed the books in some plot developments. There are secrets or revelations that may not align precisely with the novels, but the showrunners seem aware of fans' expectations, not only to honor the source material, but to give Jamie and Claire an ending that feels true to their character journeys. What we still don't know, and what fans are hoping for. While the teaser gives much, it also leaves many questions open, deliberately. Among the big unknowns, what exactly is the prophecy or writing Jamie reads? Who authored it? What events does it foretell? How specific or inevitable are they? What is Claire hearing at the end when she says, "Is it possible?" Is it someone from her past, someone home, or something supernatural or time travel related? What will happen to Faith, the daughter who supposedly died in season 2, but recent episodes have reopened questions about whether she truly did? The books and the show both hint that she may yet feature in some way. What choices will they have to make about their home, community, children, and each other? It seems almost certain that sacrifice will be involved. How will time travel, or elements connected to it, factor into the final season? Given the show's history and the expansion via Blood of My Blood, the dynamics of time may play into the final season in ways both expected and surprising. A resolution to the major lingering mysteries, Faith's fate, Claire's family secrets, possibly the future of their children and a legacy at Fraser's Ridge. An ending that honors the scale and depth of Jamie and Claire's relationship, that doesn't cheapen their sacrifices, nor the history they've lived. A balance of the heroic and the intimate, sweeping battle and war tension, and quiet moments, personal reckoning. Some sense of peace, or at least closure, even if not every outcome is happy. Given all that these characters have endured, fans want to believe that their love, even amid tragedy, will remain central. Emotional stakes and the end of an era. Beyond plot and prophecy, what is perhaps most striking about the teaser is how much it underscores emotional stakes. The roots of memory, promise, fear, regret, love. These have always made Outlander more than a historical romance or time travel epic. They make it a story about what it means to love across divisions, across time, across danger.